Hey, Randy Joe here, and welcome back to the channel where we have been doing November Punk, listening to different punk albums for the first time ever on this channel for the month of November. Now today's video is going to be a suggestion from somebody in my comments just a couple videos ago. Asked me to check out Minutemen's 1984 record, Double Nickels on the Dime. Now, I have heard of Minutemen, however, I do not know a single song from them. Personally, if you asked me to name a Minutemen song, I would be drawing a blank. And on top of that, if I'm being even more transparent here, I thought they were a new wave band. I did not know they were kind of full-blown punk. So this is going to be, completely fresh to me. Not sure what to expect. However, just take it at face value. It is an hour and 14 minutes long. It is 43 tracks long. The original track list, though, is 45 songs long. This is missing 2 tracks that, from what I gather, just had to do with the CD version of the track listing that is now on streaming. And if you wanted to hear those bonus 2 tracks, the original 2 tracks on here, you'd have to probably find a rip online or a vinyl itself from back in the day. But obviously, we're not doing that. We're just checking out the streaming version, so we're missing a couple tracks here. Hopefully, those tracks aren't, absolutely necessary. Still, an hour and 14 is quite a lengthy project, and 43 songs is absolutely absurd for any album. But they are very short, so I'm excited to hear the bursts of creativity here. Another thing I know about this record is that apparently it is very diverse and spreads itself out quite a bit throughout multiple genres, which to me is very interesting. I'm always a big fan of some genre bending, especially when it's done quite well, quite smoothly. So let's see how Double Nickels on the Dime by Minutemen truly is. Dee's Car Jam, Anxious Mofo is the opening track here. Kicking it off. Oh, they waste no time diving into some nice grooves right off the bat. Very slick. This playing is.
How can I express, let alone possess?
Oh. There's that opening track. Quick. Who's our bassist here? Mike Watt does a great job kicking things off with that nice thick bass line throughout that one. Drumming is also fantastic from Mr. George Hurley, and D. Boone has a very distinct, deep tone. Now, only a minute and a half that opening was, and the second track here also the same. It's kind of crazy how diverse the instrumentation was in that opening track, despite being so quick, but very groovy. Theater is the life of you. We're not going to do too many pauses. I want to try to stick to hearing these things since they are coming at you fast, and there's 43 tracks. God damn. Very slick production. They dive right into these catchy grooves. And quite kind of call to action, political, typical punk fare. I love that bass. Incredible second track. Oh my god. They're so punchy. Here we go with Vietnam. Maybe perhaps addressing the war.
Let's say I got a number. That number's 50,000. That's 10% of 500,000.
That it is.
Oh, here we are in French Indochina.
Remind me of like early Talking Heads, maybe with that new wave kind of punk aesthetic. But it's very groovy, and it's scratching that itch of Talking Heads. Oh. Oh my god. I love the rapid
Executive order.
grooves.
Congressional decision. The working man fall.
Oh. And that drumming, a little jazzy even. Cohesion. 2 minutes, and this one seems to be an instrumental. Funny enough. Much softer. This one's quite beautiful, quite melodic. Just very crisp, clean performances so far. Production-wise, too, this record is very sharp. Very raw, but polished. Quite a clean listen that one was. Wow. Loved how stripped back it was. Let's go into It's Expected, I'm Gone.
I don't want to hurt.
Ooh.
See, my position was here. I mean, as it was, I was.
Oh. Oh my god. I've said it so many times already, but like the constant kind of evolving instrumentals at such a rapid pace that are so clean, so polished, and so groovy and very punchy make for just a very tight listen so far. Like, oh, another switch up. How are they able to bounce off these ideas with ease? I love the drumming being brought so much to the forefront.
That my head is connected to my body. Right now, man.
Very nonchalant attitude, too. Classic punk ethos. Ooh. Let's keep it going. Man, this is a smooth listen. Number one hit song is this one. Oh. Our drummer ramping up. Oh! This is an incredible LP so far. I love how sharp and clean all of it is. Bouncing off ideas with ease, blending new wave and punk and hardcore punk, a little bit of jazz elements as well so far, and a great use of space throughout this thing too. Yet every track super tight and rapid.
Love is leaf-like. You and me, baby. Blah, blah, blah. E. T.
Nice humor
C.
kind of throughout this record too. Very kind of like laid back bass as well throughout a lot of this record. But certainly does a lot of heavy lifting. This one being Side D, the name of this one here. I believe in reference to D Boone. Maybe they get their own side each. 2 beads at the end is this one.
Feel like a poker in someone's fireplace.
Not sure even what some of these tracks are about. Oh my god. Kind of like, I want to say danceable, maybe some dance punk elements too within this record. But not for long. They love to switch off these grooves. Here we are with do you want new wave or do you want the truth?
We'll set off the keg. My words are war. Should a word have 2 meanings?
This we're getting much more clearly political. Oh. I like this ominous rising tension in this one. That's a nice little groove. I wonder if he's gonna maybe shout out this passage. Maybe we're gonna go hardcore punk to break away from this tension.
I stand for language.
I
Nope.
speak for truth.
I shout for history,
I am a cesspool
for all the shit.
to run down in.
Kind of remind me of Slint. It's like a quicker Slint track, this one. Ominous, well-paced, nice little riffs to kind of pocket into, and very spoken word-esque. That's a fantastic track. Here's Don't Look Now. Oh my goodness. 9 tracks in already. This one already recorded perhaps like a small venue? Sounds like it. Getting very raw here. Very good atmosphere coming through here. Live setting, very interesting. I like the small kind of venue atmosphere that comes with the track. But I do feel like, you know, that clean, polished, yet sharp production of the, you know, other tracks is certainly more appealing to me. So, Don't Look Now, probably my weakest pick so far. And we're right back into things with Shit from an Old Notebook.
Let the products sell themselves. Fuck advertising, commercial psychology,
Ain't that the truth?
psychological methods to sell should be destroyed.
Oh my goodness, yes they should. And yet we all give into it in the end.
Involvement in their own conditioned minds. Progress. Let yourself be heard.
Oh. Our drummer. George Hurley. It's so tight, so quick. And we got like a guitar solo I just caught on to. From Mr. Boone. Here's Nature Without Man. Not too much to say about that last one, but it was nice. It was tight. It was anti-advertising, anti-marketing. Your typical anti-capitalist track within the punk fare.
Boundaries, the border of right and wrong, the terror's mind. Nature without man, nature without man, nature without man, nature without man.
Some of these are so quick, so rapid. It's kind of hard to dissect the lyrics as they're coming at you, especially since they're such quick passages. Perhaps this is about like balance or opposites, you know, kind of balancing things out. I'm not too sure. That being said, I love the instrumental as always. Oh! I love these moments with the record like that, where they just break things down. Here is one reporter's opinion for the next one. That one, like I said, just rapid ideas at you. Ooh. There's those catchy kind of new wave elements, but here's the kind of classic punk ethos, the hard rock element, or hardcore punk I meant to say, kind of coming in. Mike Watts, isn't that the other performer here? It is, our bassist.
Between the yelling and the sleep, his sex disease needs a stop sign.
D. Boone stretching it out. And that is the end of the D. Boone side A. Now it seems like we're going to, well, it's funny, ironically enough, called side D. Side A is the D. Boone section. You know, our main front man, main singer here, and our main guitarist. But now we're going into side Mike, which seems to be maybe Mike Watts' section, our bassist. Will this side be even more bass heavy? Will it be more maybe Watt singing? It seems like he is making up the majority of the writing credits. Interested to see how side Mike might differ from side D and how side George and all the other sides will kind of be their own thing, or if they are all going to still sound, somewhat uniform to one another. But let's keep going. Political song from Michael Jackson to sing, kicking off. Side Mike.
List monitors are right with petition. I have this philosophy. Is your life worth the painting?
Maybe a bit more rough already. Reminded me of some hardcore punk, even more so. Oh. Here's that guitar solo that you spoke of.
So dig this big crux.
Really, standing quite bold and confidently, it would seem here.
At the wholeness, it's way too big.
Oh. Getting even more hardcore punk influence, especially with the vocals on that one. Stripping back the instrumental and putting them on the forefront. Reminding me of Minor Threat. Maybe Partying Will Help is this one here. Ooh, there's Mike Watt on that bass. Funky bass.
As I look over this beautiful land, I can't help but realize that I am alone. Why am I able to waste my energy to notice life being so beautiful? Maybe partying will help.
I love it. He has a very sweet voice as vocals. Very soft when it wants to be.
To be a victim of my choice. Maybe partying will help.
Maybe sinking into a party mindset to escape yourself of to rid yourself perhaps of the troubles of the world. Which is something we discussed on the last video for Jeff Rosenstock's Worry. I like that one. Very, just like infectious riffs throughout. Toadies is this one. We gotta keep it going.
Number 7 on the jump list.
These like really rapid tracks are not only flying by, but I kind of forgot how quick they were, just because the stylistic switch ups and the constant deviations in each track really make these small tracks feel even smaller. Like we're just getting so many ideas thrown at us that it's also refreshing and surprisingly not overwhelming. I'm really just loving the swiftness. Our guitarist, D Boom. Flying around on that thing. Oh, nice and hushed. Our bassist kicks off passages incredibly. Here's a Retreat. Man, these tracks. There's nothing too crazy to say. I just think so far, everything I've said only continues to solidify. It's a incredibly polished listen so far, which is very shocking. I thought it was going to be a much more messy and overwhelming record. I'm getting strong, kind of like early Talking Heads vibes, but with a much more hardcore punk flair. Ooh. Nice explosion contrasting these very soft moments throughout the track.
Am a thorn. I read it in your face.
Because of thundercloud, my head's a tape recorder.
Oh my god, giving even more kind of slint sound to it, which obviously this was before slint, but man, those whispers, almost inaudible. Lyrically, oh my goodness. I was gonna say lyrically, quite abstract. Almost seems like absurdist lyricism. Again, strong Talking Heads kind of comparison there, to me at least, because as we know, Talking Heads does write in a very abstract and silly way that still feels kind of relatable and raw. The big foist. Foist? The heck is a foist? Minutemen are just saying anything on this record.
A richer understanding.
Getting ping pong there. Knocking back.
What
Head
gift
back and
could be
forth.
a work of art? Can you
Oh. Our bassist had a great riff on there, and our drummer, as always, Mr. what's it, George Hurley, if I'm not mistaken, that's his name, correct? That is his name. George Hurley here. I'm curious if he was ever trained kind of like on the jazz drums, on the jazz side of things, because his drum playing is very meticulous, very rapid, very careful, and kind of reminds me of of that kind of whole world of jazz with its very consistent and on tempo drumming that feels very rapid. Great performance so far. Very concrete and cohesive their chemistry is. Here's God Bows to Math.
in the Queen's chamber?
I think they're all on the vocals here
Guarding the holy Cupid.
with that harmony.
God-given act.
Kind of like an Eastern tone on that guitar work there. So many great riffs on this thing. So many incredible ideas
Cold prophecy.
blended so fast.
That sacred inch.
Pardon? She loves that sacred inch. Let's keep going to Corona. The highest streamed track on the album, it would seem. Yes, by a landslide, 23 million. Not sure, is this in something? This sounds familiar, but I love the very bouncing, farm-like delivery here. I feel like we're at like a rodeo. Kind of remind me of Primus in a way too.
The dirt, scarcity, and the
Easily one of the
emptiness of our sound.
catchiest tracks so far.
The injustice of
Oh my god. Incredible. incredible chemistry of this band. Such a tight performance from all of them. One of the tightest records I've heard this year. Everything is very clean, very polished. And despite the fact that these tracks are so short, and I think most people would assume maybe half-baked because of that, it's clearly, there is every careful intention behind every note, behind every performance, behind every vocal delivery. Everything feels very intentional, despite, I think, seeming almost thrown together. Incredible track. This one is very catchy. And a great rhythm and energy. Maybe the best track here, but it's hard to say. A lot of great tracks on this thing, and definitely most accessible, I would say. The Glory of Man is this one.
The time monitor. The space measurer.
The way he pronounces that. Measurer. Wonder where they're from.
I am the tide. The rise and the fall.
This track, 2 minutes and 57. Minutemen, you guys are getting a little ambitious here with your runtime. Almost hitting 3 minutes. Oh.
The laugh child.
The tempo of this one. Oh. Incredible. Just gnarly riffs.
Time monitor.
Charles Hurley. Sorry, how am I messing that up? George Hurley. You're drumming, sir. Of all the punk records we've heard this month, easily, hands down, the best drummer I've heard so far. An underrated drummer, because I've never seen his name come up on conversation online in terms of, drummers. Incredible. I love how incredibly rapid, steady, careful, meticulous his playing is.
The space measurer.
And with a band as clean as this, it's impressive to stand out. It's like they're all competing to be the best, and yet they're very unified. And incredibly catchy, every track here. Super catchy. Let's keep it going. Take 5D, Glory of Man, incredible track once again.
You're not in the shower. You're not plumber here. Had to pay for 2 service calls.
What is going on here? Is this instructions on caulking? I don't understand.
Water drips from all around. Kathy's ceiling. My ceiling.
What is going on
Shower.
here?
Don't
There's like,
shower.
what are we at? What are we at? A sleepover here with Minutemen? Don't use the shower. I get it. It needs to be caulked. Also, kind of like a folk country influence on this one. That acoustic coming in strong. What is going on? I take back what I said about catchiness of this record. Not every track aims for catchy appeal, that's for sure. Mike Watt doing the vocals on this one, it would seem. Does a great job. I like his kind of spoken word Slint-esque performance. My Heart and the Real World. Bit of a catchy song. Oh, this one much more fun. Very upbeat.
So my soul collapsed into a big ill wad. Some big thunder law forces me to eat shit. If I
And this
was
is
a word, could my letters
some
never
dance
hurt?
punk classic.
Or likely caution guttural one-syllable Anglo-Saxon. I'm a cool damn clan.
I love easily the most danceable track, perhaps. Very catchy, very groovy. History Lessons Part 2 is this one here. Did we get a history lesson before? Maybe in an earlier album, I don't know. Maybe that's just them being a little silly.
Our band is your life. Real names be proved. Me and Mike Watt, we played for years.
Oh, a history lesson on the band.
Punk rock changed our lives.
Get an autobiography here. A nice,
Learned punk rock in Hollywood.
sweet melody, too, to go with it.
Drove up from Pedro. We were fucking corn dogs. We'd go drink and pogo.
I love how sweet the sentiment is on this one.
Our band of scientists rock.
Get a little
When I was
braggadocious
E. Bloom,
about their experimental nature, perhaps.
Drummer and John Doe. Me and Mike Watt playing a guitar.
Shouting out his influences. Some punk rock legends. That one very sweet, a very kind of cute track, autobiographical, kind of tackling the development of the band. I like that one. I really like that one. I liked how easy listening it was. Man, we're about halfway through the record, roughly, a little over halfway track-wise. It's been insane. This has been an insane listen. But that was the end of side Mike Watt. Side of Mike, as it's called. Ending with History Lesson Part 2. And let's go on to side George, the drummer. George Hurley gets his own side here, where it seems like Hurley is making up a lot more of the writing credits on this one. So it seems like they're splitting it up specifically by writing credits, perhaps, which is quite interesting. It's almost like their own version of their White album. You know, it's their version of it. Let's go into You Need the Glory. Is Mr. George Hurley going to be a much more prominent figure? The drums going to come through even stronger than they have? I can't imagine. This one already, is that scientist rock they spoke of? Much more experimental. Your classic, like, punk improvisations, you know, like a almost meaningless meandering of instruments. Really nothing to say about this one. It's just the band taking a piss. Kind of reminds me of Public Image Limited's debut album, the final track on that one. I forget the name of it, but they kind of just fucked around for about 5 to 10 minutes. Here's The Roar of the Masses Could Be Farts. Right back into the hardcore punk ethos.
almost out in time. Instinct betrays.
Oh, our guitar solos like that. Which, guitar solos, although very popular at the time, were certainly not something you saw in a lot of punk albums. So it's kind of interesting, again, them splicing in some interesting ideas. Very against the grain, which is very punk in itself.
Universal, out to till done. Proper naked self, solutions surround.
Let's go to West Germany. Get the good times going. Oh.
Still a hostage. New kind of fascist. There in West Germany.
Not sure what the politics are on this one. Maybe the Berlin Wall, perhaps, is what they're tackling here, because it didn't fall just yet. Fell in the late 80s, I believe it was.
Fear of death is so close.
And yet they make these political stands so catchy.
Ignorant and blind, afraid to swallow our pride.
A track that, if this is about the Berlin Wall, even more relevant today, perhaps, even though the Berlin Wall has fallen. You know, there's a certain other conflict that has been going on for a very long time that has just recently, really come to a head the past couple of years, that I feel like this track could be applied to once again. Not going to get into that, but I'm just saying, interesting how you could, how some of these tracks, it's almost like history repeats itself. And it feels like it could be applied once again. Let's go into the politics of time. Oh, see, this is some kind of like jazzy, free jazz. Wait, this is like free jazz. A little bit. Coming back together a little bit more unified. Oh, and we're back into the jazzy nature. Like I said, Hurley definitely seems like a jazz instrumentalist. Let's go into themselves. That one. Jazz. Free jazz, really? And here we are. Oh. Very thick instrumental on this one. Not too much to say about that one. Instrumentally, I just liked how loud and thick it sounded. Please don't be gentle with me. God, it's hard to talk about each track here with how fast they are, but everything feels very uniform yet separate. As weird as that sounds, there's certainly a sense of cohesion, yet, diversifying the genres so much. Please Don't Be Gentle With Me, though, is this track. Only 47 seconds. Not too much to say about that one. Nothing indeed is this one here. Oh, we're descending. Love that riff.
There is no cause, no cause at all for my hesitation, nothing indeed.
Solid track once again. Just a nice clean listen. Oh, and there's that riff. I love the riffs on this thing. Incredible riffs throughout. This one, No Exchange is the name of this record. Very hard to talk about each track because it's just so like in your face, so quick, so rapid. Where's this going? Oh my god, we are getting loud. We are ripping into things now. Holy hell. You're seeing red there, I feel like, with how abrasive we were getting. Here's There Ain't Shit on TV tonight. We are already 32 tracks deep.
Make an outline of myself. Where's the guideline? The media robs and betrays us. No more lies.
I feel like our vocalist here, D. Boone,
We are
would be a bit of a, you know, poet or a slam poet perhaps, if it wasn't for the rest of the band members here to back him up.
responsible.
That sort of broad, vague call to action. Does he even know what he's saying sometimes? Who knows? Maybe it just sounds nice. Let's go into This Ain't No Picnic. 1.5 million streams. Another popular track, it would seem. Oh, a drummer. Hurley. Oh.
Working on the edge, sweat, pain, and agony. On Friday, I'll be paid.
Ain't That the Truth? Another anti-capitalist track, it would seem, in the punk canon. We've seen many already on the channel. Honestly, it's not just punk. Obviously, we've heard a plethora of genres cover this idea. I think most people just hate how much work you have to do throughout your life for just a semblance of a good time, because at the end of the day, you know, most people are overworked and underpaid. That's just the reality of things. And this goes back to the 80s, this track. I've heard tracks from the 60s that are addressing the same thing. Unfortunately, this is never going to change.
This ain't no picnic. This ain't no picnic.
But it certainly fits the
This ain't no
punk ethos, and it's
This ain't no picnic.
makes for good writing material. Thank you, capitalism, for giving us good music, perhaps. Giving us something to complain about.
Hey, mister, don't look down on me. For what you be a slave. This ain't no
Oh.
picnic.
I love their...
This ain't no picnic.
I want more harmonies from them,
This ain't
you know?
no picnic.
They're beautiful.
This ain't no picnic.
very understandable why that track's so popular. It is just something that your every man, every woman, every person relates to and will forever relate to, because that is just unfortunately the sad truth of our reality. Spillage is this track here. Closing out Mike Side George, sorry.
Clearing dust. My mind. The idea of my life seems like a symbol.
From one catchy riff to the next. Bouncing off ideas. And that does it for Side George. Let's go into the fourth and final side, that being Side Chafe, who I'm not really sure who that is in reference to. There is no... After recording New Chill, each band member selected songs for different sides of the double album, with the fourth side named Chafe. Yeah, I'm not sure who that's in reference to. Maybe just a little name they came up with. Here's Untitled Song for Latin America. Let's close out the rest of the LP with the final side here. Can't believe we've flown by all this already.
Western Hemisphere and all inside. Children playing with countries, mining Harvard, creating countries.
A call to arms against our governments,
They play
those men in charge.
lies they take.
God damn. These guitar solos are insane throughout this LP. They are like electricity, like a bolt shooting through and cutting through the rest of the instrumental at times. D. Boone, incredible guitarist.
I would call it genocide. Any other word would be a lie.
Very blunt lyricism. Let's go into Jesus and Tequila, which is almost 3 minutes.
I had a girl. She loved what she saw. She loved me so good. She made her daddy mad. But my woman cried. She dead to me now.
Damn.
My woman ran off,
Brokenhearted.
and I can't deny it. My life, Jesus and tequila.
Sinking into a drunken depression.
Can't deny it. Satisfied, and I can't deny it.
I love this. I was gonna say this repeating groove, but here we are, kind of sliding out of it. And that gentle plucking the bass. Dun, 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 dun. Everything kind of building upon that bass lick.
Jesus and tequila, I'm satisfied, and I can't deny it.
Another fun listen as our protagonist sinks into a depression. Maybe from overwork and from a broken heart. June 16th is this one. I like this instrumental a lot. Got a nice rocking, driving instrumental. And D-Boon with that guitar. He only pops in. Oh. Nope. Spoke too soon. Here's D. Here's Mike Watt. There's D. I like how laid back this one is. Quite a jam that was. I like the jamminess of that track. Here's Storm in My House.
If I could call this place, surely to call this place.
Seems like there's an anger brewing inside our vocalist here.
There's a spark, my skin keeps a storm inside.
Ooh. Yeah, it seems like there's an anxiety, perhaps, or an anger brewing in our protagonist, who is maybe on the brink of breaking down. A classic kind of punk ideology
What you
there.
making, man?
Martin's Stories, this one.
Takes time.
Another quick one at 52
A little
seconds.
bit. A little bit more. The effort's
Oh.
worth it. Feels good. Designed by me.
I like this kind of wavy instrumental, especially in the bass line there.
Try it, try. That's the way you
It
want
feels like
it.
we're coasting down a rapid.
That ain't the way it always goes.
Oh. Man, I feel like we were spiraling there. Here's Dr. Wu. A cover of the classic Steely Dan track. Brought into a punk fashion.
Don't seem right.
Oh.
I've been strung out here all night. I've been waiting for the taste.
Mike White.
Said you'd bring
Mike
it.
Watt on this one.
This caneberry saw you. Are you with me, Dr. Wu? Are you really just a shadow of the man that I once knew?
I like these parallel vocals.
Are you high?
Very punchy punk kind of fusion in that cover. Kind of interesting that they covered Steely Dan. I think it shows just how much of an appreciation they have for a wider array of music aside of the ones that they already, clearly exist in. Even though they shouted out a bunch of punk musicians in the past who influenced them, obviously it's clear that their influences stretch far beyond just that of punk. Let's go into the world according to nouns. Like this ominous drum line in the background there.
The plans, the way, the dance, the mind, the cut. What's the verb behind it all?
Ooh.
The do, the how, the why, the when,
I love his
the when, the what. Get
kind of
it
wailing
right,
shouts
find that truth.
that he so confidently dives into at times. Nice ominous kind of bookending for this track. Not too much to say about it. Kind of just more of the same of what's from the expectations of the band. Here's Love Dance. Oh, another instrumental was in, which I do love their jammy instrumentals because they're a very tight kind of set of members here. Not too much to say about this one. I mean, it's just a clean, funky, groovy instrumental, very jammy, great chemistry as always. Let's go to 3-car jam, close it out. I think we've got 3 cars. Yeah, there's that middle car right in the center. Was that necessary for the track list? I don't know. It closes out things very strangely. It's just 3 cars revving up. I don't quite know about that one. But, you know, Love Dance seems to be the common closing track for some of the other releases. So, you know, with that in mind, that is a nice, funky, jammy, tight little listen there, which really could be said for the entirety of the record. Let's talk about the entirety of the record. Let's talk about it because, man, 43 tracks we just listened to. This is a 45-track record. We're missing 2 here. That's fine because even at 43 tracks long, this thing is insanely, very technically diverse, beautiful, chaotic, blending in genres of punk, post-punk, new wave, free jazz at times, even just regular traditional jazz instrumentation, especially in the drum moments too from Mr. George Hurley, who does a fantastic job on the drums. A lot of great blends, hardcore punk as well, obviously. There is a lot going on here that's very impressive. The guitar solos too, taking on a traditional kind of rock fashion. You don't see a lot of guitar solos in punk music, and yet here, throughout many moments of the record, we have D. Boon just shredding his guitar whenever he can, sometimes for 10, 15 seconds before diving right back into the rest of the mix, which is saying a lot because these tracks, they are fast. They are quick. Our longest track here, I believe, is just under 3 minutes at 2 minutes and 57 seconds. Gloria Man, fantastic track, very catchy. And Corona, of course, as well, over 2 minutes long. Most streamed song, most accessible, very fun, very engaging track. That kind of leans into a bit more of a new wave appeal. But this entire LP, though, like, super fast. The average track here is probably about 1.5 minutes. So with that in mind, they are not wasting any time building on their ideas. They're not wasting any time developing any ideas. They're just going right to the point, which is very direct, very catchy, incredible riffs, incredible melodies, really fun and in-your-face abstract lyricism at times. There's no moment wasted. What you would think at 1 hour and 14, you know, maybe there would be some wasted tracks on here, but honestly, every track really feels like it justifies its place simply because of how technically proficient every member is here. At 3 members, they are a trio, and they feel like they are so in sync with one another that it's so impressive that they're not more talked about. I don't see Minutemen talked about too much online. I rarely see them come up. Even in punk circles, I feel like these Minutemen, should be much more discussed because, honestly, chemistry-wise, they are a very tight band, and I've heard very few bands feel this cohesive and on board with one another's ideas while still letting, each member have a moment to shine, because D Boon, of course, like I said, his guitar solos and his vocals are fantastic. But then you have the bassist. You have Mr. Mike Watt, who is a great bassist, and sometimes on some of these tracks sets a really great groovy tone underneath everything to build upon. And then, of course, I already gushed about George Hurley, but again, his very rapid, very clean, very tight playing that is very technical, while at the same time feels kind of laid back when it wants to be, is very impressive. He clearly is very well trained. I feel like it wouldn't be too shocking to find out he was perhaps trained as a jazz drummer, maybe in his youth, maybe as he was growing up. However, something about his drumming is so impressive and proficient that it blows my mind. But honestly, this LP, whoever suggested it, I forget who you were, I'll throw you up right here. Thank you. This is an incredible listen. Definitely a necessary album for the punk canon, and certainly necessary for November Punk. So a double Nickels on the Dime by Minutemen, although very long, at 43 tracks, certainly sticks the landing perfectly. But that does it for today's video. If you liked the video, please hit like and subscribe to follow along and listening to more punk albums alongside myself. We've got quite a few more to get through, however. I think I do know the records that I'd like to choose. However, still, if you have any suggestions, put them down below and I'll see if I can get to them. Because, as always, I do appreciate a nice suggestion such as the one we listened to today. That being said, the next record we're going to cover for November Punk is going to be Pink Flag by Wire, an album I've heard many great things about, and also has very quick, brief tracks such as this album. As always, my name is Randy Joe. I appreciate you watching, and I'm signing off.